Jagaradev, Jai Masters. There once was a high being who came through here in the 70s, and I'll never forget one line in his lecture said, "Love can be the biggest trap or the biggest liberator." Love is a trap on your spiritual journey when it's personal. Love is a liberator when it's impersonal. Most people, regular people, they can't conceive of what that means. Love is personal. It's about interaction between two people. It's a very personal thing. When love is personal, here's the condition. I don't feel love unless I'm with you. I didn't feel love before I met you, but since I met you, my heart is open. I feel this beautiful flow of love coming through my heart, going out to you while you're there. Well, that's personal love. Why? If the person's not there, you don't feel the love. If the person says something that isn't what you expected, you don't feel the love. If the person leaves, you don't feel love, you feel pain. Yes or no? That's personal love. And it's love that exists because somebody or something opens you. You weren't open before. There's nothing wrong with that. It's part of your evolution. But because of your interaction with this person, you have opened your heart. And as long as everything stays the way that opens your heart, you say, I'm in love. And when it doesn't, then you don't feel love. You don't feel you're in love. You wonder what happened. You look for love somewhere else. Whatever. You stay together for the kids. That's what ends up happening. You compromise. Impersonal love, and then we'll talk about how to go from one to the other. Impersonal love is as follows. There's this flow of energy, Shakti, that's always flowing inside of me. I've done enough work on myself to where it's not blocked. I've released enough blockages to where somehow there's this beautiful upward flow of energy that's always going on inside. It feeds you. That's what Christ meant when he said, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of God. In other words, you don't just feel greatness inside because of what's going on outside. That's the bread. There's something going on inside that's natural, that's whole. Every word that leaveth the mouth of God, that's the Shakti. So if you feel that, it doesn't mean you don't have relationships. It doesn't mean you don't get married. It doesn't mean you don't have kids. It means you are feeling the love regardless of what's happening, and it's being expressed in various ways. Through marriage, through children, through this and that, whatever it is. All right? The difference being, you had that love to start with, and you're sharing it. It's impersonal. If something goes wrong in the relationship, it can go wrong in the relationship, but it doesn't go wrong inside your heart. That flow of love was there before, during, and after. It has nothing to do with the other person, and you know it has nothing to do with the other person. It has to do with the fact that you've opened up enough inside to where your energy flow is not blocked. And if you release those blockages, everyone will feel that love. It's just a natural state of being. It's who you are. You are love. That's who you are. That's what God is. It's that flow of energy. So there's a big difference between personal love and impersonal love. But not only is there a difference philosophically, there's a big gap in there. And few people even get to feel love, right? Really. What they feel is need. Love turns into need very, very quickly. Like I said, I need you to be here for me to feel love. That sounds romantic. It's not romantic. It's need. Okay? And so as long as the need's being fulfilled reasonably, you feel love. And the moment it's not, and most of the time there's no way that someone's going to fulfill your needs. They don't even know you don't even know what they are. They sure as heck don't know what they are. And everybody goes through changes. You go through changes. They go through changes. Every single day you go through changes. You had events at work. You had events with the kids. You had events with different things. And they left impressions on you. And so you're in different moods at different times. You're open to different things. It's just a natural human state. So that every single day you're a different person when you come home at the end of that day. And so by the time that all goes on, who the heck knows what the other person needs or what you need or anything like that. So it doesn't generally stay in a state of absolute love all the time. In fact, it never does. Not personal love. Because the people change, the situations change, you have financial problems, people get married, they have all kinds of love, and by the time you get married, you're sharing the mortgage, you're sharing the thing, you're sharing the problem with the kids. All of a sudden, you're dealing with more things than just dating. And all of a sudden, it's not so easy to keep things open, and you're dealing with things that aren't opening, and now you're dealing with them together, not opening, and all of a sudden, whole relationship changes. It happens to just about everybody. It's a very natural process for humans to go through that. So what do they end up doing? Whatever. Breaking up, getting divorced, staying together, whatever it is. Some people say that initial passionate love cannot last. That's absurd. I don't ever want you to listen to that. It's not true. You are capable of being inundated with love every moment of your life, no matter what happens. But not if you're dealing with personal love. That's going to go in and out and open and closed, and you're going to go through many, many different things. All right? So how do you go from personal love? First of all, how do you go into personal love? People have enough trouble with that. Okay? That's like a special thing. Just oh my God, I fell in love. It's so beautiful. Okay? It doesn't happen every day. It should. It can. Okay? The question is not, how do I find love? Who do I need? How do I find it? The question is, why don't I feel it? If it's true that I'm capable of feeling love all the time, and you are, period, no whatever happened to you, it's who you are, why don't I feel it? That's the right question. Not what do I need to do or find or get in order to feel it. Why don't I feel it? And the answer is very, very simple. I go into this in great detail in the new book, in Living Untethered, right? You don't feel love all the time because you block it. Why would I block love? Because you don't understand what's going on. You have no idea the dynamics of the Shakti. And that's what yoga tries to teach you. The great teachers try to teach you. You block love every day of your life. Every single day of your life, you make it so you can't feel love. How? There are things that unfold in front of you that you say, I can't handle this. At work, with people, at lunch, the meal wasn't what you expected it to be. It cost too much. The waiter didn't serve it right. Come on. You have things that happen to you in your life that when they come in are uncomfortable to you. Every single day, lots of times during the day, okay? There are uncomfortable situations that come into you. What do you do with those? If you are a normal human being, and I hope you're not, I hope by the time you got here, you understand being a normal human being is not a really good thing to be. It's not fun at all. Just go look around. But if you're a normal human being, what you do every single time when something comes in from outside and feels uncomfortable, challenging inside, you don't want to feel it. You don't want to feel it. It's just that simple. Why would I want to feel it? It doesn't feel good. I don't want to feel it. So what do? You instinctually keep from letting it all the way in. You hold it at a distance from you using will. The place I know you get it, if I say to you, you have hands in there, don't you? You can push things around. You can hold on to them. You can push them around. If you do that, they stay inside. That's just that simple. You held them inside, and they will be there your entire life. Like some are more prominent than others, but literally, if you go to your high school reunion 20 years later, every person you see is going to bring back the stuff you interacted with them 20 years ago. That's the person you don't like. There's the person you're friends with. There's the person that took your boyfriend. There's a person that got better grades than you and you thought you were really smart. Okay? I guarantee you 20 years later, they're not the same person. Nor are you. It doesn't matter. You stored this stuff inside and it's coming back up. You store inside that you had this wonderful time cooking with your mother when you were 8 or 10 years old. It was so much fun. It was so beautiful, right? And walk into a kitchen 20 years later and smell the smell of cinnamon when you're making rolls or whatever it is. You change. Your mood changes. Your heart changes. That's because you stored this stuff inside of you. Okay, well, what's wrong with that? Nothing, except for the fact that every single thing that you push away, that's energy that came in. The event happened, it's coming in, it's not going to not have happened, it happened. And you can't handle it, so you push it away. It stays in there. and it blocks your energy flow. It's like rocks in a flow of water. It creates eddies and turmoils and sprays and all kinds of things. That's what all your emotions are. That's why we're so weird. Anything can happen outside, and it causes a shift in that garbage that you've stored inside. And all of a sudden, you're not comfortable. And I don't like it. I like to talk about the negative things, only because they're easier to talk about. But it's the same thing with things that you liked. Things that you liked, oh my God, this is perfect. This is the finest meal I've ever had. You're in trouble, because you're going to have it again. And you're going to compare every single meal you have from then on. It's not as good as, it was kind of close. Where can I get it again? You want to have it again. So you screw up every other experience you have because you're trying to have that experience again. So these are negative and positive scars. They're impressions that you stored inside of you that make it so you can't be open. They make it so that things have to be exactly the way they were before that you liked, and they can never be anything like what happened before that you didn't like, even if they're closely related. Oh, the tie he's wearing. My ex-husband used to wear a tie like that. I can't be here. I want to go away. 15 years later, you stored this stuff inside of you, and it is blocking your energy flow, and that is the only reason you don't feel love. That is the only reason you do not feel love all the time, welling up inside of you, feeding you from inside, feeling ecstatic joy, love, period. And so now, in order to feel love, and you don't know this, but it happens automatically, if the situation outside, the person, place, or thing, or weather, happens in such a way that it manages to make it through your stuff. Just at this particular time, that thing that happened with mommy's pushed way down there, and then this happened, and you loved your stepfather, and this guy's wearing a tie that's similar to your stepfather, and all of a sudden, energy comes up. Because it found it. You didn't do it. It found its way. It's trying to come up all the time. Do you understand that? Shakti is always trying to come up. Period. All the time. It's trying to come up. But it can't. It's blocked. So when something opens, called opening, you're open. You're open to this. You're open to him. You're open to her. That's what it means. It means that your patterns are such that they allow the energy to make it through in this person's presence. And that's when you feel love. And that is so conditional, I don't want to talk about it. All that person has to do is one thing that reminds you of something that bothered you, and all of a sudden you're saying, I told you not to do that. I told you not to wear that tie. I'm not comfortable when you wear that. In other words, I now need to manipulate the world outside of me, people, places, and things, so that they allow me to be open and don't close me. And you know darn well you've been in love with people and you've closed. There are times you've closed. That's all there is to it. You get in different moods, you get in different things. All of that are these samskaras. Every single mood you have, every single opening you have, every single closing you have is just the relative position of the stuff down there that it shifts around. Have a great day at work. Win the lottery. When do you see how many people you fall in love with that day? Have both your parents, who you love with all your heart, die in a car accident. See how much love you feel for anybody or anything. It's like this stuff is blocking your energy. And if things happen in such a way that happen to open you, people say, it's the chemistry. It's not chemistry. It's some scars. It is energy. It is physics. Okay? There's the energy exchange going on. And sometimes it's really beautiful. And all of a sudden there's all this openness and there's all this love. And there's nothing wrong with that. It can't be wrong. You just better understand what's going on. What's happening is people don't know what's going on. So the next thing you know, they're running after something or running away from something, all because of these patterns, these samskaras. So a wise being, and very few people are wise, they don't judge themselves, they don't judge others, they just understand the dynamics of what's going on. Like people say, how could you love him? I could never love that girl or that guy. Don't you know anything about them? And the more they tell you about them, the more love you feel. Because you had totally different experiences. You stored different things. To you, a stepfather's a dirty old thing, and to you, a stepfather's the most beautiful thing it ever was. Okay? And it's going to be like that. Because you didn't handle the situation, you suppressed this different stuff, held on to this stuff, and now those are the patterns that make up your psyche. It's just a psyche. It's like programming, like computer programming. You've had this stuff typed in, the outside world types it into you, and you have these programs running, this about stepfather, about mother, about this, about smells, about words, about how somebody talks to you. And you think you're right, and everybody thinks they're right. It's just these patterns that you stored inside. You don't do it purposely. It's just if it's uncomfortable, you push it away. What's the alternative of pushing it away? letting it all the way in. Letting it all the way in and pass right through you. Like when you love somebody so much and they come home after a long time and you hug them and you just melt. You melt, don't you? You just melt into their arms. In other words, you let that experience touch. You know what you say? Right? Or let's make it more personal. Sunset. You turn the corner, this beautiful magenta and purples. The sun is setting so beautiful, right? And you can't even see straight. It's just the most beautiful thing I've experienced. And you say things like, oh my God, it touched me to the depth of my being. Can you relate to that? And they ever touch you to the depth of your being? That means you let it all the way in. You that's experiencing it didn't resist one iota. And that's not very often. You hear me? There's always some resistance, right? But in that hug, that you love somebody and they just came home after a long time, there's no resistance. The energy comes all the way up and passes through your own being. It's just you melt into it. Or people say, with the sunset, I felt like I was in the presence of God. You were. You were, because that's who you are, right? And the energy was free to touch you to the depth of your being. That's a very spiritual experience. Can a hug be a spiritual experience? Can a kiss be a spiritual experience? Can a sunset be a spiritual experience? Yes. Is it always a spiritual experience? I gave you this the other day. No, if your last girlfriend waited until you were out there parking in a beautiful spot where the sun was setting to tell you she's leaving, and she got out and was walking away, from then on, every time you see the sunset, you see her walking off into the sunset, and you closes you. That's what's going on. That's the personal life. You had these personal experiences, so you have personal things that open you and personal things that close you, and that's quite a dance. Right? Impersonal only comes one way. Not that everything matches your stuff. That's not going to happen. There's no way you're going out there and getting the moments unfolding in front of you to be exactly the way you want them to be so that you always feel love. Is there? They're going to unfold the way they do, and they're going to hit your stuff the way they do. You can do your best to try to stay open, but what happens is, over time, it's difficult. So the only way to truly feel real love, impersonal love, is to get rid of your stuff. That's it. That's the reality. While that stuff is in there, it's going to run your life. You decide who you're attracted to, who you're repulsed by, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what you're inspired by, what you're turned off by. What do you mean when it says this turned me on? What are you, a faucet? You got a faucet in there? And the answer is yes, you do have a faucet in there. This turned me on, meaning the combination of this situation and experiences was such that it made it opening, and the Shakti made it through, and I'm excited to go to work, and I can't wait to start this job. And when I go to start the job, they give me a task that I hated. Now I don't like the job. I'm going to immediately put my resume out somewhere else. Come on, you know how you are. That's why. Is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. But wake up. There's no way you're getting all the moments unfolding in front of you ever to be exactly the way you want them to be, so you stay open and don't close. No one ever did. No one ever will. Okay? But that does not mean that you can't feel love all the time. You just have to have another strategy. And so the strategy is, if that's true, that these blockages in there are what determine my openness and my closeness, and the world hits my stuff, and it does, and I open or close, the solution is to get rid of the blockages. And that is the real solution in your life. And that is the meaning of your life. And it can be, I'm not going to say should be, can be, once you catch on, the purpose of every minute of your life is to get rid of those blockages. And so the question becomes, can you got some stuff in there, right? Anybody have some stuff in there from their past that they don't deal with so good? Of course you do. Everybody does. It can go. It does not have to be in there, period. I don't care what it is. I don't care what they tell you. By the way, it's in there because you put it in there. You didn't create the situation, but you resisted the situation, and that stored it inside of you. And it's still in there because when it tries to come back up, you push it back down. Don't talk to me like that. They know I don't like that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, the stuff, I don't want to deal with it. If you love me, you won't touch my stuff. Get away from my stuff. Oh, it's so cute, right? You just get a totally different attitude. Sit there and say, I want to feel love and inspiration and joy all the time. That stuff's got to go. Not everybody else needs to be a certain way. Not the whole world needs it a certain way, because you ain't going to do it anyways. Okay? The trouble with trying to get the moment in front of you to be the way you want, it will only be there for a moment. Unfortunately, it's like a train. Another one's coming right after that. How in the world are you going to get every single moment passing before you to be the way you want? You're not, and you know you're not. And that's why you love the moments where you're open. Those are the meaning of your life. They're Kodak moments. You don't have I hope you don't have a picture album full of the ones that screwed you up. You said that to me. Wait, hold it. Let me take a picture. You don't do that. But if it opened you up, let's store those moments. Why do you have to store the moments? Because you know how big your album is? I don't know, this thick. For your whole life? That's it? Yeah, pretty much. There's my marriage, and there's my first kid before he started doing drugs, and there's this and there's that. Okay? You're just saying that very few moments of your life are peak experiences. Every moment of your life can be a peak experience. If you decide that you understand what's wrong. What's wrong is you store this stuff. And so you start to make a commitment. The same will that everybody else uses to manipulate and control everyone around them to be the way that makes them feel well and not be the way that makes them feel bad, you use to get rid of your stuff. And literally, that's literally what it takes to walk this path. You just totally turn the thing around and say the meaning of my life is not to match the stuff, it's to get rid of the stuff. So how do you do that? I've taught you this before, right, now that we are communicating. First, some people write and say, how do I know what stuff I need to deal with? It'll let you know. No, yes, but you don't deal with that. You'll have to deal with it when it comes up, but on a daily basis, you take the attitude, I'm going to learn how to not store more. I teach you this all the time, I'm sorry. Your first step is not to get rid of what's in there. You will not be able to do it. It's too strong, it's too deep. At some point, it'll just come up and knock you over. And you know that. The first step is to say, if I keep storing more, what's the purpose of getting rid of what's in there? So you start by saying, I'm not going to store any more. Now that you understand the repercussions and the cost of storing that stuff in there, it's not free. All day, every single thing, the temperature of the heat, the driver in front of you, what somebody said to you, what somebody didn't say to you, then somebody opened the door, didn't open the door. Every single thing is putting stuff inside of you. And you'll notice it comes up in your dreams. The next day, you try to avoid certain things or find certain, you understand that? So that means it's still there. So you start practicing saying, I'm not going to store more today. Today is going to be a no storage day. You wake up in the morning, you look in there, you say, all right, there's all kinds of stuff in there. I'm scared, I'm worried, et cetera, et cetera. But today, I'm not putting more in there. And then I know I teach you this, I'm sorry. Okay? You don't even start with the big stuff today. Go to a level, a ground floor level, that you're capable of doing. I tell you, it's the same as learning to play tennis. You don't start by playing with a master tennis player. You start with a coach or a ball thrower, and you learn how to hold the racket, and you learn how to swing, and you learn how to hit into the net, and you learn how to not hit into the net. Or when you play the piano, you don't start with Beethoven or Mozart. You start with these things called scales. Oh, they're so boring. But if you can't do the scales, you can't play the piano. And from scales, you go to Twinkle Twinkle. And from Twinkle Twinkle, you go to, some song, and then you start playing more. And next thing you know, you can try and play Beethoven or something. This is exactly the same. I just don't understand why people don't understand. You can learn how to handle stuff. But no, you just sit there. No, I've never been able to handle that. So, learn. I've never been able to play the piano. You can learn. I've never played the piano. I'm going to touch you on the head and I can play the piano. No, you have to learn. You're allowed to learn. This is the most important thing you will ever learn in your entire life. How not to store stuff inside of you, how to make it through the day, and have fun staying open. If you can't stay open during a normal day, what are you going to do with the relationship? What are you going to do with the money? What are you going to do with the politics? What are you going to do with the different things that happen that hit your stuff? You're going to get freaked out. You're going to have trouble. So you start by saying, I can handle today. I can handle today. How do you know you can handle it? Because I said I want to handle it. I want to hit the tennis ball over the net. But it keeps going in the net. Good. I'll learn to hit it over the net. I keep having trouble with this person at work. Good. I'm going to learn not to. Not they have to change. I'm going to work with myself. And then you come down to, you don't need all these complicated techniques. Meditation is very, very good. Mantras, all these techniques are very good for maintaining awareness, consciousness, witness consciousness. So I'm in here, somebody says something at work, or somebody gets a job that I wanted, somebody gets a corner office, somebody the driver in front of me is driving 15 miles an hour and a 55 mile, happened to me today. But I have to live my own teachings. It's terrible that I teach this because then I have to live it. 15 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone. Hi! Okay, but you know I can't do anything after I teach this stuff, right? So I got myself in a box. So net result is, can I handle it? Can you handle the weather? Can you handle what somebody said? Can you handle what somebody didn't say? Can you handle it? Can you handle it? Can you handle it? Can you handle it? You go to the cafeteria at school or at work, and you go to sit down next to some of your friends, and somebody else sits there sooner, and there's no place to sit with somebody you know. Can you handle it? Can you not take it personal? Can you handle such a earth-shattering thing that you don't get to sit in the cafeteria where you wanted to, or the driver? Do you understand that? There's all these low-hanging fruits, little things that happen to you every single day, and you can't handle them. You can't let them come in like the hug. Woo-woo. So handling it at first means not closing. In the end, it means welcoming it. It means thanking it. It means loving it. I love sitting not with my friends. This is so exciting. I love dealing with her, that she's having trouble with it. It's like a video game. It's a built-in video game. Can you get through without Pac-Man eating you? You probably don't know what Pac-Man is. All right, but in any event, that's how long ago I ever touched a video game. Can you make it through the day without the day eating you, without storing this stuff? How do you do that? You're conscious, you're aware. Do you close during the day? There's just all this stuff, and you'll see yourself close. Well, if you're going to close at that stuff, and you can't handle the moments of life, you're not going to be able to handle anything bigger. Same thing with the piano. If you can't play the scales, you ain't playing something bigger. And don't sit there and say, but it's right, he shouldn't drive like that. No, that's just giving you permission to close. You're justifying closing. Well, I just told you that being open means you get to feel love all the time. Which you'd rather do? Feel love all the time, or not open the toilet, or open this, or open that, or have a car drive a certain way? Me, I'd rather feel the love while I'm driving behind somebody at 15 miles an hour. Closing is no fun. Learn not to do it. Someone once asked me, but how do you open? I don't know how to open. Ready? Don't close. You don't have a can opener in there. You can't make that thing open. None of you can. But you cannot close. You have the right, when you start feeling it do that. Every one of you know what I'm talking about, right? You feel it do that, all right? Relax. Let go. Think of this talk. Do I want that stored inside of me? Am I willing to go through this without making a mess of myself just because something's not the way I wanted it to be? And you start practicing releasing, practicing not closing. And the reason I talk about so-called negative things, because almost everything's negative to you. Why? Because you have a concept of how you want things to be based on your past experiences. Well, how many things are there that it could be other than the way you want it to be? There's only one way that's positive to you. There's 875 million that aren't positive to you because they didn't match what you wanted. It's absurd to play that game. So you're very specific about how someone should talk to you, or how close could they stand, and what can they be wearing, and how should they do their hair, and what's this and that, blah, 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 blah. You got all this stuff all day. I'm begging you to wake up and realize you close all the time. Why? Because it's not the way I want it to be. Who said it's supposed to be the way you want it to be? That's just something you learn by your past experiences. Somebody else loves when they talk close, right in your face, right? Wow, I love it. What if somebody swears? What if somebody does this? What if somebody disses you a little bit? Says, oh, you're not as good as you thought you were. How you doing? Can you handle these things? The answer is no, you can't. Because you never tried to. What you tried to do is make sure they don't do it. You didn't work on being able to handle that they're going to do it. It's not going to. Did I get across to you? Every single thing there is, you have a way you want it to be. You have a color you want it to be. You want it what shape it's supposed to be. Who's supposed to be at the party, what they're supposed to be wearing. You don't realize how you are. You just, I have the way I want it to be. All right? And if it's that way, I like it. And if it's not that way, I don't like it. Now I'm just asking you, as a great statistician and mathematician, you all are geniuses, right? How many ways are there that the world can unfold that match what you want? One. One way for every situation. There's one way it's allowed to be. How many potential ways are there other than that it can naturally unfold in nature? 1 million. You that way with weather? What weather do you like? Well, 69 to 73, 40% relative humidity, no rain. Unless I don't want to go to school, then I like when it rains, so I don't have to go. When's it allowed to rain? When I don't have to get out of the car, when I'm not carrying anything, when it's not my birthday, all right? Not on the weekends, okay? And even the weather, you have a way you want it to be, don't you? And when it is that way, oh my God, a beautiful day. But it's only this wide. Wake up. Things are not negative. You make them negative because you have decided how they're supposed to be. And if they're not that way, they're negative. So you screwed up your life. So what this is about is to sit here and say, if you want to feel love all the time, you have to stay open, because open means love can flow. Well, why do I close? Because you have all this stuff stored in there from your past experiences. They're called your preferences, how you want it to be and not want it to be, because you stored it that way. So don't store more of that. I told you, how do you do that? You have to want to. You have to say, okay, I'm going to go through this day, things are going to happen, and it's going to hit my stuff. What am I going to do? When it hits my stuff, I step forward or back, and I say, okay, let go. I know people understand it because they write me from all over the world about how their life has changed. The little tiny thing. I learned to be conscious and let go, and everything has changed. Of course it has. Because if you don't let go, you close. If you let go, something happens, the weather's not there, you walk out there, oh, it's so hot, and you catch her. And sit there and say, I told you, there's a star out there. Who doesn't like stars? All of you like stars. It's not the sun, it's a star. I'm going to cry. I love that thing. You're close enough to a star to feel its heat. You should be marveled. I marvel that I get close enough to a star to where it's hot. Imagine that. Just think about a star out there, and you're close enough to it. It's 93 million miles away, and you're complaining about its heat. You should go, wow, how hot must that thing be? So have fun with things that used to close you. And somebody doesn't walk with you when you're trying to walk with them. They walk too fast, whatever it is. And you try to figure out, do they not like me? No, let go. Let go. I always tell you, you know how many people didn't walk with you? 8.3 billion. You're worried about one. You can get all weird about one person. You're doing that to yourself. And so you learn to let go. Just relax, welcome it. Like I said, first, just try not to close. You can tolerate it. Second, you start to realize this is healthy. This is healthy that I learned to be okay with the different events in life. And then finally you realize, I love it. This is a fun game. It's like a sport. Can I make it through the day, or maybe a minute, without closing? And you just start relaxing, welcoming. When you get to the point, I'm really getting advanced from graduate school now, where you literally welcome it. Oh my God, this would have closed me. Come on, teach me. You're my teacher. Teach me not to close. Thank you for coming and challenging me and making me work with this. I love it. I love it to pieces. There's not a single thing that can happen all day that's not fun, that's not exciting, that's not challenging. It's like, how would you like to play a sport against a team just as good as you are? You get better then, don't you? That's what this is. And you literally get to the point where you welcome every moment of your life, and you start doing that with the small stuff. And you're able to do it. All right, you're committed. And I'm telling you, if you practice that piano, you're going to get better. You know you are. If you practice a sport, you're going to get better. If you practice not closing, you're going to get better at it. So don't come to me and say, oh my God, my child died and my husband left because he couldn't handle it. I don't have any finances. What should I do? I hope you've been working on yourself for all the years that didn't happen, so that you sit there and say, oh my God, this is the biggest challenge I ever had. I can handle it. It's difficult, but I'm going to handle it. I love when, talk to me that way. There are people who write me that way. It's just amazing. I can't tell you the stories, but they just write these stories that you wouldn't want to hear. You wouldn't want to live that life. And I say, because I practiced letting go, I was able to handle this. And I worked with it, and I made it through. And I'm a better person because of it. There. Now you're using life properly. But when it overwhelms you, because you're not used to working with it, if I take a sheet of music from Tchaikovsky, there's no white space, by the way. It's just all sharps and flats and up and down. Oh, my God. I think that he must have had 4 hands or something. All right? You're not going to play that. But if you practice, you'll be able to play more and more things. You will be able to handle every single situation that life throws at you if you practice, 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 just like sports, just like music, just like everything else. All right? So that is your spiritual path. Your spiritual path, yes, meditation is wonderful. It helps tremendously. So does mantra, so does yoga. I'm not telling you not to do these things. They're wonderful to help you maintain centers of consciousness so that you can do this. But if all you're doing is meditating an hour a day and having a wonderful deep meditation and then coming out and having all this junk hit you and you can't handle the thing all day, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that. I want you to attain a state that never goes away. It's always there. First, start with letting go of the little tiny stuff that you just, I can't even explain it. You don't bother doing it. The way I'll tell you is do events closure during the day. Do events hit your stuff. Do you get in moods? Do you feel closed? Do you feel that pattern? Good. Work with it. Just work with that. If you can't handle that, there's no way you're handling the big stuff. So you just let go, release, step back, do mantra, breathe. I don't care. Just ultimately, I want it to start to close you, and then it doesn't. Whoa. I like that. All right? Just, you know what I'm saying? It starts to do that. And you just relax. Welcome it. Say, okay, now I want to use this to learn not to close. I'm willing to handle the heat. Oh, you're so great. I'm willing to handle that it actually rained. It sounds silly, doesn't it? Right? I'm willing to handle the driver in front of me. They didn't use their blinker. I'm willing to handle it to practice not closing. And so you welcome it and you let go. What's going to happen if you do that, I'm warning you, is the stuff that's down there, now that you're not putting more on top of it, the stuff that's down there is going to start to come up all by itself. People write me and say, I don't know what I did wrong. I was doing really well. I was letting go under the weather and on this and that. And what people were saying, I thought I was doing really well. And then all of a sudden I'm driving my car and I just start crying. There's all this energy comes up inside of it. I couldn't handle it. It was unbelievable. What did I do wrong? Nothing. You didn't do anything wrong. It's wonderful. Throw a party. Get excited. It means your stuff is coming up by itself, and it's time to let it go. But how come it hurts so much? If it's stored with pain, it's coming back with pain. Why? Because you stored pain, and it's going to release. It's a pocket of pain. That's what you stored in it. So it's going to release. Welcome it. Be happy, because your choice is, I'm going to learn to deal with it now, or I'll store it for the rest of my life and let it ruin my entire life. You'll never be able to feel full love because somebody hurt you in 5th grade. I never trusted anyone ever again. Not enough to really open. I may believe I was. I could put on a good show, but no, deep inside, that hurt me so much. 5th grade? Give me a break. All right? I always tell you, high school, and no one made it through high school without being screwed up. No one ever. All right? Because you're going through your changes, and then you don't know how to deal with things, and the other people don't either, and it's just a mess. Okay? Nowadays, it's probably junior high or elementary school. They're progressing so quickly. But the net result is it starts to come up. Understand that is what's supposed to happen. The question is, can you handle it? If you can't handle it, it's going to screw you up completely. Everything will get messed up. You won't be happy ever again. Bad, and oh my God, I got screwed up. No. You welcome it. I learned to let go of the driver in front of me. I learned to let go of the weather. Now I'm going to learn to let go of this stuff that's stored inside of me. Oh my God, you should be celebrating. It's time to go to graduate school. It's good that you didn't put more in there. But what about all the stuff you put in there your whole life? Do I have to deal with it one by one? Do I have to figure out who I did something bad or who did bad to me and go find them 30 years later and apologize or say, please apologize because you screwed me up? Oh, please help me. No. All right, I hope you don't have to do that. What do you mean? How do I not have to do that? It's not a question of the specific incident. It's a question of the ability to handle that level of discomfort. So you've stored lots and lots of discomforts in there, haven't you? You don't have to go back to each one. If something comes up and you say, okay, I always never was able to deal with this. I was afraid of it, right? I avoided people. I did all kinds of stuff. Now I'm going to deal with this. You're not dealing with the incident. You're dealing with a level of discomfort. The reason you stored the incident is you couldn't handle it. So the question is now, can you handle it? And you work on it. All of a sudden you find that anything in there that is stored at that level of discomfort, when it comes back up, you can handle it. You learn to handle the level of discomfort. If you can hit the tennis ball over, then the balls come in different areas. You can hit them over, right? It's not just, okay, that ball I can hit over. It's crazy, right? It's all about a level of discomfort that you were not able to handle before, so you pushed it away. Now you learn to handle a level of discomfort. How? By relaxing, by welcoming it, by saying the cost-benefit analysis is, if I can't handle it, staying in there for the rest of my life, screwing me up. If I can handle it, it goes bye-bye, and it'll pass through, and I'm a free being, and I get to feel love, and I get to be more open, I get to enjoy my life more. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? You bother to play the piano, you bother to play tennis. People, oh my God, they put so much, look at the Olympics. Oh my God, they kill themselves for 4 years. I'm not knocking it. It's wonderful, right? But you do that with something that, if I learn to win the gold medal inside, then my heart's made of gold forever. You do this, all of a sudden you release beautiful energy, and you don't have to be afraid of things anymore. And so basically, you find out it's worth doing the work, then your stuff starts coming up, and you realize, am I going to use this situation to let go of this level of discomfort? Or am I going to justify pushing it back down? Or am I going to say, I can't handle it, I can't handle it, no, I can't handle it, and touch it and make a mess, which we all do, right or wrong. Ever made a mess? Of course you did, because you couldn't handle it. And so you do all kinds of stuff and makes a mess. Okay? And so instead, you welcome it. You welcome it up. It's a private thing you do inside yourself. It's nothing to do with anybody else. It's between you and God. And you just learn to let it go. It's worth it to let it go. It's worth it. You can handle it. And so basically then that happens, then something bigger comes up. And then eventually you realize, I want to see you when you reach the point that you realize nothing can happen in life that can bring me down. Not because it can't happen, but because I'm able to handle it. I'm able to handle whatever life gives me. So you find out that everything has its place. It all has its time for expression. But can you handle it? Can you handle day and night? Or you're afraid of the night? Or you're afraid of the day because people see you? Can you handle friends and enemies? Some people hate you. They hate your religion. They hate you're male. They hate that you're female. They hate what you did. They hate what you didn't do. All right. Can you handle it? Are you comfortable understanding that that's part of the yin and yang? That's part of dark and light, high and low, happy, sad, hate, love. It's there. Can you feel love in the presence of that? Wow. Because then you're a great being. You understand that? When you get excited, I told you, people think, I'm growing, I'm so high now, I can meditate for an hour, and I always wear white, and I'm vegan. No. You want to measure? Here's your measure. You're standing with a bunch of some of your friends, really close friends. You're all just talking, and all of a sudden you see somebody coming from the distance over there, and you kind of get a little quiet, and you blush a little bit, and you just better get ready. You say, I'm sorry, but that person coming over there, Sally, she really loves me a lot, and it's embarrassing. She just has just nice things, thinks I walk on water, right? So just understand. So Sally walks up and does her thing. Oh my God, it's you! I can't, I've loved you from the beginning of time. And, right? So you sit there, and okay, there you have that experience. Did you handle the experience? I handled it, right? Now, half hour later, somebody comes up, and you see it in the distance. You stop. You say, oh, that person hates my guts. Oh my God, they never have a night. Any person they ever see, they talk against me. They diss me unbelievably. Wait do you see? And the person walks up and disses you to pieces, tears you to pieces. You're still here on earth. You don't belong here. You pollute the damn place. Right? Just on and over. And you're just filled with joy and fun. When you're there, come see me. Now you've reached a beautiful state. Life unfolds and you're in here feeling joy. Don't show it. No. You just got to mind your own business, right? But inside, it's all turning you on. I mean, come on. How could the person who hates you the most not turn you on? All right? It's like the villain in the movies. It's like, oh, Darth Vader showing up, all right? Hi, Darth. It's exciting, okay? Otherwise, you're in trouble. Because you have to worry that the person might show up while, and you do this, you do that. What if the person doesn't like you so much while you're hanging out with your friends? You don't want them to show up, then no. And you worry, you get uptight, you get anxious, because you know you can't handle stuff. Imagine that you know you can handle anything that happens. You've worked through your stuff. There's nothing to hit. I told you, Yog Shakti, the beautiful saint. She was a saint that gave us the Durga statue that's right down in the corner over there. And one of the first times she was here, she said a couple of things. She said, first, she said, problems are the nectar of life. Don't you wish your mother told you that? She never talked personal, very, very pure. She leaned over to me once. She said, Mickey, I said, yes, mother. She said, don't you just love when they yell at you? There's so much energy. Okay, there's the same lady who told me once, she didn't ever talk about herself, but we were very close. And she told me once in passing, she didn't understand ever since she was 3 years old, as a child, why anybody wanted anything, why children wanted toys or anything. Just she sat in here completely clear, filled with peace her entire life from the early age of her childhood, and just looked out, what are you guys doing? Well, they didn't understand that they needed something. Great being, all right? So the result is you are capable of evolving by working with yourself to raise your energies by not closing. And then we come back to how I started. That's how you feel love all the time. That's impersonal love. You got rid of why you don't feel love. You didn't have to find a reason to feel love. You got rid of why you don't feel love. It's always about getting rid of things. Spiritual path, one great teacher, Buddhist teacher once said, spirituality is never about getting anything. It's always about losing everything. It's about letting go of yourself, not getting for yourself. Otherwise, you have to keep it. Don't worry about losing it. If you will let go, I taught you, I did a whole lecture, how to have love all the time. And you're capable of it. And you're going to be challenged after this talk, like I am with the driver in front of me, because you're going to close. You're going to see that tendency to close. And you have to decide, am I going to do it, or am I going to practice not doing it? Practice letting go of the tendency to close. That's how you stay open. That's how you feel love. All right. If we work on these things, do you understand? Isn't it nice to know that love is your natural state? Doesn't mean you have relationships. Your natural state is love. Don't expect it from anybody else. Just work on letting go. Jai Gurudev.